everyone, it's author Sandra Wilson, and I'm here again in the Kindness Kangaroo Library for another Storytime session. Today we're going to read the book The Gingerbread House, written and illustrated by me, author Sandra Wilson. This is one of our reimagined classic series, which takes some of the stories you may have known from a long time ago and changes it up a little so it has a little bit more story to fit into today's situations that may have a little bit more of a positive note, maybe not so scary. So I do change them up a little bit, but they are inspired by the classics. So you might have guessed the Gingerbread House is inspired by the classic Hansel and Gretel. So here's my reimagined idea of the story of Hansel and Gretel. Wreath making was a tradition the family would always do. They'd hunt the woods for pine cones and add them with some glue. One day, while they were exploring the woods, the kids discovered something new. It was something they hadn't seen before, and they weren't quite sure what to do. It was a house, they knew that much, but it looked like something to eat. The walls, the doors, and even the roof were covered in so many sweets. The air that circled around them had such a wonderful smell. It was like a warm, inviting hug that left them feeling so happy and well. They were tempted to take some candy that decorated the place. Would it hurt just to have a nibble? Just have one little taste? "Don't touch anything," came a loud voice as their parents caught up from behind. "And stay where we can see you. Why must we always remind?" I understand you are excited and want some candy to share, but there are many dangers in the world, so let's move ahead with some care. First, you can't take candy from that house because that would make you steal. And if someone took something of yours, imagine how you would feel. Next, we must wonder who lives here in this wood. Are they someone we should avoid, or are they someone who is good? And just as they asked the question, a woman opened the door, holding a tray of cookies that she crumbled to the floor. "We are very sorry to bother you," the children politely said, "but we have never seen such a thing before. Is your house made of gingerbread?" The woman offered a friendly smile and introduced herself with a bow. "I am Shara the baker," she said, "and I'm glad you found me somehow. You definitely have an interesting place here among all the trees, but I wonder if you could share with us, how did you get here, please?" "I once was a baker in the town, busy working each day, but I wasn't very happy and needed to find a different way. So I found this little place away from the bustle of life, and I found a love for baking seed cookies for the wildlife." That's why she was crumbling up the cookies. "My house is just an example of all the things I can make. Would you like to come to the kitchen and I can teach you how to bake?" The kids looked at their parents, who nodded with a smile. "I think it will be just fine to visit here for a while." They all went inside that house made of sweets. Shara taught them to make cookies and other fancy treats. They spoke of holiday traditions that they would celebrate each year, but when the children noticed that Shara's face held a tear. "Sometimes I get lonely around the holiday time. Everyone is busy with family, but I no longer have mine. I bake my gingerbread people and give them my family's names, but of course it doesn't bring them back, and my holidays have never been the same." She kept baking as she was talking and revealed what she had made, a gingerbread cookie of each of them that she added to her display. The cookies weren't for the children, though they were decorated to match. "These are for me," Shara said, "but I can make another batch. I've really enjoyed your visit. It feels good to have people around, so I will keep these cookies to remember you all once you are homeward bound." The family looked at each other and decided right then and there they wanted to help this woman and show her that they care. "You don't need the cookies," the children shouted with glee, "because every year at Christmas, this is where we will all be. We love your baking tradition and we want to share it with you, so we will keep on visiting and you can show us what to do. We will make cookies of your family and talk about them all day. We can use the cookies to act out stories like a gingerbread puppet play. We don't want you to be lonely, especially when the holidays are near. So every year we will visit and share the holiday with you here. Shara was so thankful for the friendship the family showed, and their idea to visit again caused the happy tears to flow. Everyone was feeling the warmth, but not from the spices in the air, because of friendships and traditions, and a family who showed they cared. So that's the end of The Gingerbread House, one of my reimagined classics, and I thought it was really sweet how the kids and the family decided to share a tradition with Shara because she was alone at the holidays, and sometimes there are people that celebrate the holidays alone. So if we can find a family like that or a person like that and share something with them, that makes them feel good, but it also makes us feel good as well. So think about some of the traditions that your family does. Do you go pick out a Christmas tree? Do you bake? Do you send Christmas cards? So think of all those different traditions that you do and maybe decide how you might be able to work somebody else into that tradition that maybe doesn't have that. So is there someone, maybe a friend who doesn't have a lot of family or doesn't get to go tree hunting themselves? Maybe you can take them with you, or maybe they can go on a sleigh ride with you, or maybe you can send some cards to some people in a retirement home that maybe don't have people that get cards sent to them, things like that. So think about the traditions your family does and a way that you can maybe share it with somebody else. And if you want to share your tradition and your story, you could write a story like The Gingerbread House about how you could share a tradition with a friend. And if you do write that story, make sure you share it with me. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us for this story time session. As always, underneath you'll find a link so that you can get your own copy of The Gingerbread House. And we'll see you next time in the Kindness Kangaroo Library.